Have you ever wondered how to make a product picture like this one look like this? I will show you the lighting technique and the editing process behind this epic product photography in this product photography tutorial. Thanks for tuning in and welcome to my new product photography video. In this photography tutorial for beginners, I will teach you how to compose a multi-exposure shot only using one light to create a stunning commercial photography scene. These multi-exposure shots come in handy if you have a product with various structure elements, as this shampoo bottle here. As you can see, the side has a different structure as the front, and for every characteristic of the shape of the bottle, we are going to take one exposure. Let's start the product photography shooting. As a light source, I have this strip light box. I use a strip light to have a narrow cone of light, and additionally I have a grid attached to it to reduce the spill light. The strip light box is attached to a studio flash, as you can see here. Yes. As a surface, I have a black cardboard to reduce the reflections of the table. We are going to start our DIY photo shoot at home with the exposure from the back of the bottle. This way we get the full contour of the bottle and the rest will be black. And this comes in handy when we want to cut out the product later in post-production. So now we take our first shot to get the contour. The next thing we want to achieve in this product photography tutorial is this halo effect you can see in the epic product photography shots. To achieve this effect, we will move the strip light to the side, facing towards the edge of the product. I will only take this shot from this side. Why? I will show you this later in the editing process. So let's take the next shot. Okay, the next shot will be to highlight these ripples here on the side of the bottle. For this shot, I move the strip light completely to the side of the product, facing towards the product. Let's take another shot. Okay. For the next two exposures, I move the light to the front of the product. We are going to take two more shots. The first one is going to be a front right exposure, and the last one is going to expose the label completely. And yes, let's take the shots. Now I move the light completely to the front. Like this, I have a clean and nice label shot. Now we have all shots we need and we can import them into Photoshop. Now we are in Photoshop and I've already loaded all the picture into Photoshop. We are starting with the contour layer as our base layer. Already cutted it out, and the next step is to get our next exposure, the side light exposure, into the contour document. Right click on the layer, duplicate layer, and then select the contour document and duplicate it as side light. Okay. Now we have to transform the side light to the contour layer. Okay. Now we change the blend mode to lighten, so we only get the light parts into the document. Now we can deactivate the contour layer. And the next step is to duplicate the side light layer by hitting Ctrl and J. And then we'll flip it horizontally. For this you press Ctrl T. Right click into the picture and flip it horizontally. As you can see, we have a symmetrical bottle now. And if we had shot the picture from both sides with the light, it wouldn't be as symmetrical as it is now. Alright, the next exposure of the side ripples, let's bring it into our main document Again, right click on the layer, duplicate it into the contour layer as side ripples. And we do the same thing. Control and T to transform it into the document. And now we change the blend mode to lighten again. Duplicate the layer. Hit Control T to transform the layer. And then we select flip it horizontally. And as you can see again, the picture gets more and more structure. Don't worry about the label, we deal with it later. The next exposure is the right front exposure. Also duplicate the layer into the contour document as front right. Control T to transform it. Here we also change the blend mode to lighten. Now we hit Control and J to duplicate the layer, Control and T to transform it, and then flip it again horizontally. Now the last step is to get the label into the picture. We open our label document. Also right click on the layer, duplicate layer into the contour document as label. This time we leave the blend mode at normal and we zoom in a bit. Now we have to select the label with the pen tool. Press P to activate the pen tool. Now I do it very roughly. I will select the label. When you do this, take your time and do it as perfect as possible for the best results. If you are finished with your selection, hit the right mouse button and then select Create Selection. And with the selection, you can activate a layer mask, and then you'll have the label on your composition. And in this layer mask, you can hit B for the brush tool and make sure your foreground color is black to remove unwanted areas of the label. And like this, you can edit the label into the composition. Again, I do this very roughly. If you do it, take your time. Okay, if you are finished with painting in the label, you can hit the Control, the Alt, the Shift and the E key. And now you have made a new layer with all the layers combined. You can duplicate this layer into a new document. And in this new document, I use a plugin. It's called Remove Background. You can find it on the website remove.bg. You can remove the background here with one click. Now you have the perfect layer to start your commercial shot composition. I can show you my final result. This is my final result. I used an iced background, some ice in the foreground and another ice layer in the background and some fog. And I adjusted the colors of the bottle to the background so it fits perfectly. And yeah, that's my composition. That's how you compose a multi-exposure shot in Photoshop. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, consider liking and subscribing. And I hope to see you in the next video.